Hello and welcome to the early morning edition of Noobs podcast, episode number 15, featuring myself, Jason, and I'm joined, as always, this time at least, by Mike.
I want Jim to write in and ask Jim if 10:30 in the morning is early morning. Please let me know.
His answer will be dependent upon how much he's had to drink the previous night.
I think that's everybody's answer is dependent on that fact.
Because last night he started drinking at 9 o'clock. Because the
How do you know
world's...
this?
Because I know, he told me. The world's...
Before he saw you in his window, and you scampered off.
the world's game this morning started at 4 a.m. our time. So he was contemplating drinking a lot, so he got tired early, so he'd go to bed and get up at 4 o'clock to watch the games. But at about 10 o'clock or at 11 o'clock, he basically decided, fuck it, I'm just going to stay up and play video games and play League of Legends until I fall asleep and not wake up for the games. So
Well,
that didn't work out too well for him.
if he was me, he wouldn't even have to contemplate it because I can't even fucking watch the world if I want to. So he would just stay up and play all night because fuck my internet.
Well, sounds like you have problems and you need to switch ISPs.
I do have problems and I do need to switch ISPs.
You need to go with that Comcast because, they're the best internet ever.
Unfortunately, it's just my only choice left anymore. So, I think I was telling you this before. So I found out that a true fiber is like a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you got 50 down, you should have 50 up or whatever. I don't have that. I have split, which implicates that the fiber only comes to part way, which means that it's no better than anything else. If the fiber doesn't go all the way from one source to my source, then it's not true fiber. So what's the fucking point, man? Like, why am I dealing with this bullshit?
Yeah, well...
So I just might as well just go to Comcast. It's going to be, at least Comcast, I'll have consistent download speeds. I might have shitty-ass upload, and it might be more expensive, but at least I'll be able to fucking watch Twitch streams. It's bullshit.
Well, you should be able to watch Twitch streams with what did you say your upload speed was? 10 meg?
Well, my upload's always consistently 20, but my download spikes all over the place. And trust me, Twitch is not watchable. I have to, even putting it on low, it'll freeze up.
Well, just to give you a... Excuse me.
By the way, I'm sick, so I sound like shit, and Jason just sounds like shit.
I always sound like shit, yeah. So, well, just to give you a little tipperoni.
Tipperonis.
A little tipperoni pizza.
Pepperoni's gay cousin.
We have the highest speed, as far as I was aware, at least since a couple of years ago. We have the highest speed Comcast right now, and I just ran the speed test, even with us being on Skype right now, and doing all this shit. Currently, I have download speed of 146 megabits per second.
Megawatts.
And then my upload speed is 9.54 megabits.
All right, so let me show you what mine is.
So it's under 10 megabits per second.
So
is my upload speed, which is fucking dumb for having a download speed of 146.
I'm supposed to have 50, and I wish I could share my screen with you right now. It started by going up to 22. Now it's down to 5 for download speed.
Mm-hmm. So it spiked at the start from...
At 22, and I'm supposed to have fucking 50. Yeah. I'm paying for 50. I'm paying for motherfucking 50. Right now, it's hovering at like 5.9.
Have you called and complained?
Now it went up to, oh my God, so many times, dude. They've got so many calls from me, but the upload is always consistently 20. Never fails.
What?
The upload always goes to 20, but the download. So I should take a screenshot of this and show you. It says ping 44 ms, download speed 6.49 megabytes per second.
44 millisecond ping? Where the hell are you pinging to? How far away? Because I have a 17 ping that I got.
Well, I don't know. I could pick a new server. Let's see. Let's try a new server.
Try one that's closer to you.
I was doing a server in McMinnville, which is hella close. That's the closest one possible.
Jesus
but
Christ.
it might be a shitty server.
It might be a bad data center, yeah.
So let me try a different one, just because this is bullshit. And I'm like beside myself, like physically.
What did they say irritated. When you called them?
I'm gonna go to a Portland one, dude. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and I've just called. I'm gonna go to one hosted by Comcast.
What do they say?
They say, well, the end. See, same thing. Spikes at 20, drops down. Now it's going back up to 15, dropping down, back up to 15, dropping down. It's fucking all over, and I'm supposed to get 5-0.
Are you
But
sure you're not being throttled for whatever reason?
the ping to this Comcast center was 14. So
Yeah,
this
that's better.
center's better. My download speed just came back at 16.43 megabytes per second. I'm paying for 50 though, mind you. And see,
Yeah.
my upload here at this center, it's a different center that I'm testing at, same speed as the other center. Upload's always consistent, download's fucking all over the place.
All right.
Anyway, the end thing was was that they said that the stuff outside of my house in the grounds and stuff is old and they need to replace it. So fuck them, dude. Sick and tired of it.
Yeah. It,
I don't know. You just got me all upset. I felt great this morning. The pre-show was wonderful. Now I'm like sick to my stomach, upset. I'm gonna have to go buy a burrito after this.
yeah, that's gonna help.
I love those burritos.
All right. Well, we probably should talk a little bit about our week and then get into video game news. So you said you have one story you want to talk about.
So I was at the pumpkin patch yesterday picking out pumpkins for me and my girls. And we go to the same place every year. It's really neat. But when you go in to buy your pumpkin, you give them your ticket that you bought when you came into the thing. And if you give them your ticket, you get $1 off. And so Katie had the ticket and she was outside taking pictures or whatever. So I run out. I like jog out. I'm like, hey, I need the tickets. She gives them to me. And I turn around and I start running back in. And then I realize as I'm running back in, I'm like, that's a big ass patch of mud right there on the ground. And I should stop running before I hit that patch of mud. And this all happened to me pretty much in midair as I ate face, like not face, but I hit it and I just slipped and I fell on my left side and I did like a 5-foot slide in mud on my left leg and on my hip and stuff. And I made the mistake of in midair saying, "Oh shit!" and everybody looked at me because I yelled shit.
I mean, instinctively, that's what you yell.
I know. I was just like, shit. And this lady, she's, "Oh, are you okay?" And I say, "Yeah, I'm all right. I'm just more muddy than I expected to be." And she says, "Oh, I bet that's really embarrassing." And I was like, "You are so awkward. Who says that? Who says that? I bet that was really embarrassing." I was like, "Well, yeah, no shit. But I'm not actually that embarrassed. I'm really not. I fell gracefully."
You should have been like, "Nah, here, check it out," and then give her like a side.
I should have just pulled my pants down and showed my ass or something like that. Like,
embarrassing.
Check out this. So
I mean, you
that
could have
was
pulled your pants down and showed your dick. Then that would have also been embarrassing.
for her. She would have been all bashful and stuff. Been like, "Oh my god, get that in my." Never mind. I'm learning people listen to this and they text me, and I should really watch what I say.
Especially your mother.
Yeah, my mother and probably some of Katie's girlfriends, and I hang out with these girls, and then again I say this kind of stupid shit around them too. So I don't know.
What's it matter?
I like doing the whole one story from our week thing. It's much quicker and more streamlined.
Well, I'll tell you
We
really
should talk about this in our post show.
really quickly about my week. I really literally nothing happened this week, but I did get to try out a game called. It just released. I think it was on the 2nd of this month. I think it was. Came out in early access. It's called Angels Fall First. It's like a combined air ground FPS space thing. Basically, you get in a spaceship, you fly around a spaceship. You can get in a big battle cruiser type thing, like a big carrier, fly around. A real big slow carrier thing, and then you can also get in small battleships and fly around, and you can get in ground tanks and speeder cars and things like that. And then there's also an FPS element, so it's kind of think of it like Battlefield, but with an added space flight system, kind of like Eve. And has a really promising concept behind it, but it's just came out into really early access alpha. I think it was alpha, and you could tell it has real good promise, but it's so janky right now, from the models, the animations, the all that stuff is all complete jank, but it does have promise. It does look like it could be good. So I played a little bit of that, but I just refunded it because I could use the $14 that I spent on it more than I could use the game that I'm not going to play again until it gets more polished.
So
but
you go towards more The robot dick accessories.
Yeah, yeah. I need those robot dick accessories. Uh, so that's that. And that's basically what I did all week. I also bought Chris a copy too, so I had somebody to play with because it's actually kind of not very popular right now because since it just released and the word of mouth isn't getting around and it's not very polished, so it's not getting the exposure it really deserves. But I also refunded Chris's copy as well as mine because again I could use that. It came out to a combined total of like $26 for other stuff. So, but I will be buying it again when it starts getting more polished because it does look really promising. Unfortunately, I didn't get to find a server or anything that had the ability to fly like a big battle cruiser type thing. And every time I tried loading into a space map, I crashed. So couldn't exactly play the game either, outside of doing just regular FPS. A lot of the weapons are completely can be overpowered too. So, but besides all that, it's a really neat game. If you like space shooty type games, and
you made me think of something. I don't know what you said that made me think of it, but I wanted to revisit the flock and see how many lives there were left. You want to know what it says?
Probably still a lot.
All nines. All nines.
What is it exactly?
9,999,000,000. No, 99,999,000,000. No, fuck 999,999,999,000,000.
There you go.
This is hard. 999,999,999.
I was gonna say it couldn't be 99 billion because they started with 2 billion.
Right. So they either canceled it and just like now their website says all 999s or whatever. Something happened there, dude. We need to do some undercover journalism there.
Well, let me do something really quick. So there are currently 0 people playing the game.
Oh my god, the flock, you suck.
24 hours, a peak total of 4 people.
In 24 hours.
In the past 24 hours.
Dude, that bombed so hard.
Yeah, the highest.
So hard.
Literally, there's got to be like a small group of people playing, because there are 2 times yesterday.
It's like developers, dude. 4 developers get on them.
There are 2 times yesterday, 1,800 hours and 2,300 hours that 4 people got on and played. And then in between there, it's been like 2, 1, 4. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Total.
1, 2, 1, 1,
so
1,
they don't
1,
even
1.
have anybody to play against.
Exactly. That's why the people will get on there. They load it up and go, "All right, let's go join a server in the flock." And then they go, "Oh fuck! Every server it has 0 people in it."
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
I would have refunded the game immediately if I saw that only 154 people have played it at its peak.
Yeah.
I would have refunded it immediately. Even if I liked the game, I would have refunded it.
I don't think anybody talked about it except for us.
No, there was a lot of coverage on it. Total Biscuit covered it. Jim Sterling covered it.
Which should be enough to get at least a few thousand people interested in something.
Yeah, and literally nobody cared because they went into it. They said this is good concept, good everything, but the execution's not really there. There's no meat to the game, so I can't recommend it. And then nobody bought it. So we probably should get into our headlines.
Reviews can kill it or make it for them. All right, well, why don't you get started? I know you have a couple more quick mentions than I do, so
yeah. All right,
I'm at your whim, sir.
I want to start with some of the bigger news this week was Star Wars Battlefront Open Beta was available on PC, PS4, and Xbox One from the October 8th to the 12th. So it's going to be ending on Monday, right? It's Monday?
Yes,
yeah,
tomorrow.
Monday.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if it ends like midnight tonight or if it ends Monday.
Monday.
Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure when it is. Feedback's been mixed. Well, some people.
If it says it ends on Monday, on the 12th, it's probably tonight at midnight because tonight at midnight wraps up the weekend.
Yeah. So, but yeah, feedback's been kind of mixed. Some people really like it. A lot of the Star Wars people that are really into the Star Wars franchise really do like it. A lot of other people like me, it's okay, but there's not enough there for me to warrant a $60 purchase.
I did hear that console controls suck on there too. So a lot of people are saying just play this on PC because the
Well,
controls are weird on console. I hear.
it's also really imbalanced too right now because like I don't know anything about Star Wars, so if I've botched this, I apologize. But I'm not a Star Wars guy. I'm not a fan of it. I don't really care particularly for it, but I figured I might as well give it a shot. The guns are very basic. Every foot soldier dies in about 2 or 3 shots. Um, so that's a thing. Shooting from the hip is just as accurate as aiming down sights.
Wow, that's crazy.
So you're using a blaster. Aiming down sights just kind of gives you a more clear line of sight to your target. That's all. So, and there are power-ups and stuff that are on the ground that you could pick up and all that. And really interesting, but I don't feel like there's enough there to warrant the $60 purchase. And like Rebels versus the what's the other side called? Imperials, I believe. Right?
I don't know. I'm not a Star Wars kid.
Okay. I think it's Rebels versus the Imperials.
Sounds right to me.
I'm gonna get lambasted on fucking Twitter if I'm
You know
wrong,
what?
but
People are into shit and people aren't into shit. Whatever.
but yeah, the Imperials win 90% of the time because in the AT-AT map where you have to escort the AT-AT to the objective, basically it's very hard for the rebels to kill it without the exact things like an airstrike and stuff like that. If you can't kill it or hold the points that you need to hold in order to weaken the AT-AT to take their shield offline, then you won't do any damage to them. And it literally ends up with the Imperials winning 90% of the time. And then the other one's just straight up foot combat, back and forth, kind of push, like think of like old school headquarters in early Call of Duties, where there's a location on the map that spawns. You have to go defend this location for a set amount of time, and then once you defend, you get points. People with the highest amount of points at the end of the game win. That's the other thing. So it's okay, but I mean, if you're a Star Wars person, you probably like it a lot. There's a couple more modes and stuff that are behind the full version release. They didn't announce any of them, but it's essentially right now the open beta is the full release, just with content locked because they advertised in it all the way after a match is over. Thank you for playing the Battlefront beta. Please purchase the game to experience the full bullshit on November 17th. So, full game releases on the 17th, and it's a mostly finished game as it is right now. So if you want to try it and you listen to the podcast and it's before Monday, which it probably won't be, go try it out. If you tried it out and you liked it or you didn't like it or something bothered you about it, just let us know. Hit us up on Twitter. We'd like to find out. Or email.
On Z tweets. All right. And in other quick mentions, Far Cry Primal is releasing for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on February 23rd of 2016, and the PC release will come in March of 2016. So next Far Cry.
Fucking delaying the shit. And this one's gonna be like, it's exactly what it sounds like. Primal. You get to learn how to make fire and spears and bow and arrows and things like
and
that.
I posted the article so you can watch the trailer and you can read about what the game is going to be like on there.
Yeah, there really isn't any more information released about that, but there's a running joke right now that it's like, what is Ubisoft going to put in this game to represent a radio tower? Because they climb radio towers in every game, and they're trying to figure out what exactly is going to be in this game that'll be like a radio tower that you have to climb to discover a fast travel point or something like that.
Just be like a watchtower. How hard is that to figure out?
But yeah, you're at primal times. Nobody's smart enough to build a watchtower yet.
Yeah.
Everybody's.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like we're talking. Yeah, because it's right. It's like
it's gonna be
saber-tooth tower times. You just climb up to the top of a waterfall or some shit.
That's probably what it's gonna be. It's gonna be like, get up here on this high mountain and look down, or climb on this giant pile of rocks that are inexplicably in the middle of a desert wasteland or whatever.
Well, I tried to make that a quick mention, but you're killing me, Smalls.
You have to elaborate a little bit more than just say Far Cry Primal's coming out. Check it out.
That's good enough for
No,
me.
it's not, because you have to elaborate a little bit what Far Cry
That's fine.
Primal
You
is.
said you wanted it to be less than an hour, and I'm just trying to guide you along
Well, we
that
shouldn't
path.
have spent fucking 15 minutes on our weed
It was
and
10.
talking about
I was watching it.
ISPs.
Probably not. You're right. You're probably
Well, this one's fast. PS4 price cuts confirmed. It's gonna be down in the U.S. at least, U.S. and Canada. It's gonna be down from $3.99 US dollars to $3.49 US dollars, and this is following the price cut that was announced in Japan,
When is the price cut's going to happen? Because I want to buy a PlayStation 4.
probably by the holidays.
That's cool. I have to keep an eye out for a bundle for the holidays. I
They
can't wait.
didn't. They didn't actually. I don't think they actually announced it. I'm gonna look at the article right now while you go on your next.
My next thing is that Minecraft version 1.9 will be getting capes, like flying capes. No release date for version 1.9 has been announced yet, but the cape will be found. It will not be made. So I think that this is interesting, although I'm a little bit leery about it because if you were to ask like Blizzard developers, for instance, what the biggest mistake they ever did with World of Warcraft
Flying.
is, they unanimously say flying. So I'm a little bit nervous about what this could do to Minecraft, but I'm sure
Well,
at least for now everybody's going to be excited about it.
it'll be fine, and I don't think it'll affect it at all because how many times do you go in creative mode and fly around in creative mode?
Yeah, but that's creative mode. This is for survival.
That's okay. Think of how big a Minecraft map is. Literally endless,
And if they make it very hard to find the cape, I'm cool with that.
and
But if it's like
craft it,
everybody
you
has
said?
a cape and everybody's flying everywhere and it's really easy to survive in survival and stuff, it's just a little bit. It gives me caution. You know, that's all I'm saying.
You said you can't craft it.
You cannot craft it. You have to find it.
We need to play Minecraft again.
I know. It makes me kinda wanna play too.
I've been jonesing to play actually.
I know. Me too. Me too.
Maybe we should
Speaking
play.
of Minecraft, did you watch that streamer who burnt down his apartment complex?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That
We should,
Minecraft.
we should elaborate on that a little bit.
Oh my god!
this
dude,
goes
we'll do
over
that
an
in the
hour-
post- Let's do that in the post show.
Okay, so for anybody wondering, what we're actually going to do this time is we're going to record this show, try to keep it under an hour, and then after this is over, we're going to immediately start recording again, and then that episode's going to be released next week because we're both not going to be here.
Well, yes, and it's just going to be like we're going to be playing some games while we just bullshit about whatever's going on in our worlds and gaming and stuff.
Make a note of that. Make a note of that, streamer. We want to talk about that. What was the other
Okay.
thing we wanted to talk about?
Oh, shit. Your house stuff. Your
Okay,
house
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
So why is
And
this?
then now it's your turn for the.
All right, whatever. So where am I at? Okay, so GameStop in the U.S., Game in the U.K., and EB Games in Canada are going to have a dedicated section in store for Steam hardware and gift cards in November. Now this is hilarious because Steam is a platform in and of itself that is there to make those kinds of retailers obsolete and irrelevant.
Uh-huh.
Online purchases, all that jazz is going to be done through Steam. Why? Like, they're setting up this section in their store, and it's going to basically be you have to go in and purchase these things that they're selling that are pretty much going to put them out of business. So that's kind of ironic in and of itself, but
I'm glad you brought this up because I wanted to, but yeah, it's an interesting relationship that they're forming here. I guess at the end of the day, companies are about money, so
yeah.
GameStop pays them money. Fuck. Bullshit, I gotta get that mute program back.
Yeah, you should.
All right, next thing that we have is the season finale of Telltale's Tales from the Borderlands, called The Vault of the Traveler, is gonna arrive October 20th for PC, PS4, and PS3, October 21st for Xbox platforms, October 22nd for mobile platforms. So, if you're a fan of the Tales of the Borderlands series that Telltale does, the season finale is coming.
Oh boy. Borderlands. There's a game I love.
I do love it. It's a great game.
Boo. So this was just announced yesterday. Normally my headlines would be done right now, but this was just announced yesterday, and I have another thing I need to get off my chest after I finish this. But just yesterday was announced that Star Citizen's single-player campaign called Squadron 42 is going to feature the actors. Now, they have a ton of famous actors that are going to be in this, but these are some of the big names that are out there. And if you want to check out a full list, they have it on their website. But So it's going to feature Gary Oldman. Is going to be the main admiral guy.
The guy from Elf.
Gary Oldman?
I'm just fucking with you, dude. This is the first
He's Commissioner Gordon in Batman. Gillian Anderson, who is
the guy from Gilligan's Island.
Scully from X-Files. And everybody knows Mark Hamill.
From Everybody Loves Raymond.
Pretty sure he wasn't on Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm pretty sure he played Luke Skywalker in Star Wars.
I think he was one of the sound guys.
And then there's a ton more, so go check that out in the show notes or the website or whatever for Star Citizen. Looking like they're going to have a nice big old cast of people. Mark Strong is also in there, too.
From Titanic.
I don't think he was in Titanic. I had to think about that for a minute. I'm like, I know there's a bald guy in Titanic, but I don't know if that's him. Anyway, do you have any other highlights you want to go?
That's it for me.
All right, well...
Good job.
This one is special. Now, I'll tell you why this is special. You had no idea I'm going to do this, which is even better. But I want to say that this is a live news report from the League of Legends Worlds, from our field correspondent, Jim.
My God. Dun, 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 and Jim here live from the World's events of League of Legends. Soon to be broadcasted on BBC Three.
Jim wrote me this really quickly on Friday before he left work, and this is as of Friday, so this doesn't include any of the games that happened this past weekend. But here's exactly what happened and how it was laid out. So he wrote "fuck sentences and paragraphs" as the headline, and he puts 4 groups, 4 teams each, round-robin opening format. Each team plays the other twice. Week 1, games are stretched over 4 days. Week 2 groups are decided all in one day. Quarterfinals are the top 8 teams in the world, is in London. The semis are in Brussels, which is 4 teams. And then the finals, which is 2 teams, is in Berlin. Then he goes on to say, lots of upsets in the group stage. After being declared a bad team and projected to go 0-6, C9, which is Cloud9, has been a big surprise, opening 3-0 in their group. They played more games today, which I'm actually really excited to watch to see how they did. They already happened, but I haven't watched them yet because I wasn't up at 4 a.m. Fnatic, an early favorite, struggling at 1-2. Invictus Gaming and AHQ both in the struggle bus at 1-2 as well.
Struggle bus.
He says, Origin, the big pleasant surprise of the group of death. Amazing even hit some Qs. Now, Amazing is the jungler for Origin. When Amazing was on TSM, he actually missed a lot of his Lee Sin Qs and stuff.
Skill shots.
Yeah, a lot of the skill shots that are on Q. TSM underperforming as widely speculated would happen. KT Rolster playing well as expected. LDG and a pile of human garbage that no one expected. Imp tears. Now, a lot of these are going to be inside jokes you will not understand unless you're in the competitive League of Legends.
He wrote it out. Did he do this for us specifically?
Yes.
Aw, Jim, you're such a sweetheart. This is wonderful.
Because you know why? He complained about last episode. He said, "You guys
one that was just you and him, you and Chris."
Yeah, he complained.
I'm sorry, Jim. I'm here for you this week, buddy.
He complained that I didn't go enough into detail as far as the League of Legends format because when Chris
what he wanted to know, so he wrote it for us.
When Chris asked me, he said, "Hey, what is this League of Legends Worlds about?" I said, "I don't know. I'm not following it that much." Jim was like, "What the fuck? You're supposed to bring the news to us. You could have contacted me, the guy who spent the past couple of weeks researching this shit,
That's so funny.
To write you up an article." So I told him on Friday, right, like 10 minutes before he had to leave. I said, "All right, I'm still waiting for that article for you to write for me." And he's like, "Why don't you do your own damn work?" I'm like,
so he proceeds the article by saying "fuck punctuation and sentences and titles and all that shit."
Yeah,
I love that.
So
Jim's the best.
Then it goes on to say, I'm going to read the rest of this really quickly so we can move on. CLG starts off well, gets ripped to shreds by Coup Tigers, and proceeds to get dumpstered by Flash Wolves. Flash Wolves surprise the Coup Tigers and take first in their group. CLG further embarrasses self, loses to wildcard team from Brazil. SKT T1 good, EDG pretty good, H2K bad, BKT awful. Yay Faker, boo Ryu. NA/EU with some surprise teams. Korea great as usual. China garbage. Wild card teams garbager. Lots
He's
of
definitely a better writer than everybody on Polygon, IGN, Kotaku, and the likes. Definitely 100% a better writer. Much more interesting.
lots of unique champions played. Over 20 unique mid laners. Probably close to 60 to 65 overall the map. Top lane focused meta with the Juggernauts, ADCs taking a backseat. Lots of pick bans on TF for global pressure. Support jungle synergy important. Western style lane swaps outperforming Eastern. Best tournament I've seen other than SKT. No one really running away from the pack. Anyone could win. Yay.
Nice. Very cool.
So that's thanks to our field correspondent Jim. Jim, thanks, big shout out for you for doing those the League of Legends World Finals.
Thank you so much.
Headlines. So
Jason will be getting the Halloween bonus over to you soon when he sees you at work tomorrow.
yeah, as soon as Mike sends that to me in PayPal, I will give it to you.
I'm just waiting for you to send it to me so that I can send it to you.
Oh, I'll get right on that.
All right.
So since I just finished all that talking, why don't you go ahead with your big news story?
All right. Well, I'm going to go with
we'll
the
have
lesser.
we'll have to power through these pretty fast. We got a
Yeah,
half
I'm
hour.
going to go with the least. I have two. I'm going to go with the one that isn't interesting to me as much as the other, but I titled this HL3.txt. Valve has uploaded some mysterious text files to their game Dota 2 that imply the existence of Half-Life 3. Did you read about this?
I don't know if this is straight up troll from Valve.
We'll see what it is, but I'm going to
didn't-
read to you some of the snippets from the text lines, and we can
Good,
discuss that.
because I didn't go into detail about researching this, but I did read the headline. And I'm like, this would be interesting, and I went to go save it, and I think I forgot.
So these text files detail the existence of quests, VR support, NPC squads, and more. So just with those points, you would say, well, that could apply to Dota 2. Why not? I mean, they could be doing some weird, funky VR shit, but these are what the lines from the text files say. NPCs that are in the same squad, i.e., having matching squad names, will share information about enemies and will take turns attacking and covering each other. I don't think that you can do anything like that in Dota.
No.
Another part is VR chaperone and VR movement suggest compatibility with Valve's Lighthouse technology and its HTC Vive headset. So I'm not VR chaperone and VR movement are lines out of the text or whatever, which that's where they're getting the implication of virtual reality. Quest citizens, and if you want your citizens to squad with the player but not obey commands the player gives to the move squad, put a concept here and the citizen will speak the concept instead of obeying the order. Way too much detail, granulated detail right there to be a Dota thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Combine pulse ceiling turret. Combine pulse ceiling turret. Combine.
Yeah.
Well, they're both spelled the same way, but it's all in context. It's fucking bullshit. Combine pulse ceiling turret. So ceiling turret.
I'm gonna guarantee.
I'm pretty sure there's no ceilings in Dota, right?
There's a skill ceiling.
And the most important part that comes out of the text files, zip lines.
Sure.
That sounds like it could be Half-Life 3 stuff to me. And for me, it's like, yeah, Valve could be trolling, but why would they troll just to get people's all excited and then not deliver? You know how bad that would be?
Because it's been... Hold on. I need to look this up, but just so I don't fuck up the numbers. Okay, it's been years since they did Half-Life Episode 2. Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Half-Life 2 Episode 2 initial release date was October 10th, 2007.
Oh, I was going to guess 2006.
2007. Half-Life 2 came out in 2004. So it's been more than 10 years since Half-Life 2.
Yep.
And what was the gap between the first Half-Life?
98.
Yep. November 98. Yep. November 98, and they came out with Half-Life 2. What was that?
6 years there.
No.
98 to 2004 was 6 years.
Oh,
You're talking about the gap.
I was thinking 2007. Okay. So
That
yeah,
was for the
2004.
episode 2, right?
So I wouldn't be. See, here's the thing. Episode 2 was left with a big cliffhanger. If you haven't played Half-Life 2 or Episode 1 or Episode 2, I highly recommend go and play them. They're amazing games. Now, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, left with a giant cliffhanger at the end that could go anywhere with. And everybody was expecting a Half-Life Episode 3, but never happened. As of why, nobody knows. But Half-Life 2 Episode 1...
I think I know why.
Half-Life 2 Episode 1 came out in 2006. June of 2006. And then Half-Life Episode 2 came out October 10th, 2007.
Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and Half-Life 2 Episode 2.
Yeah, I'm just going to say Episode 1, Episode 2, whatever.
Right, because you were saying Half-Life Episode, whatever.
Half-Life, the original
Just don't
Half-Life
ever
didn't
do it
have
again.
episodes. Fine, whatever, fuck you. So it was a year between the two of them, so everybody was expecting, because Valve has stated that they're going to switch to episodic content so they can progress the story better, and also, keep content flowing out more regularly. That's the whole point about episodic content. You get stuff more regularly as opposed to getting a full chunk of a game every couple of years. So Valve was like, we're going to switch to this, and they came out with Episode 2, and at the end of Episode 2, everybody's like, oh my god, I can't wait for Episode 3! Now, Episode 3 is nowhere to be seen because they're actually going to turn it into a full-blown game, apparently. So.
Well, and I did some more research into this because I've been hearing a lot of talks of, I don't know, real non-committal talk from Gabe Newell about Half-Life 3. So I read an article about an interview that they had, I believe it was Polygon, conducted with Gabe Newell. And I believe that they have a spin-off episode of a podcast. I don't remember what it was called, but basically he says more or less he kind of dances around the possibility of it, but does the whole, we're not going to say it's never coming, but we're not saying we're working on it. That's really what it boils down to. But it doesn't look that didn't look promising. I think at the end of the day, though, there's so much demand, and really what this all can be chalked up to be is the longest, biggest, hugest marketing scheme ever. They're just generating, like, at some point it's going to be like 30 years later, and they're going to be like Half-Life 3, and everybody's going to be like, what the fuck? I remember that shit.
The internet will literally fail when they announce Half-Life 3.
It's going to be nuts, man.
So, but the Valve is one of those companies that's notorious for not coming out with a third game. Because you got Left 4 Dead 2, you got Half-Life 2, you got Dota 2, you got TF2.
You got Titanic 2.
All these games. What's with you with Titanic? You fucking...
I read this picture that said 1997 best year ever because it had Titanic.
Get out of
here. It
here.
had Final Fantasy 7. It had all sorts of good fucking games and shit.
Final Fantasy 7 wasn't that good.
1997 was the best year. You know what? If you choked on your beard hair right now, I wouldn't be devastated.
Final Fantasy 7, if it actually changed the battle system, I'd be okay.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right. Does that wrap up that one?
That wraps up that one.
All right, I'm gonna power through this one all the way, and then we'll discuss at the end because this is a kind of a long one, so I need to start from the beginning here. So the headline that I have is $73,000 Kickstarter dries up. Medora, created by Epic Minds, a proposed 2D old-school action-adventure game based on gorgeous sprite artwork, raised over $73,470 from over 3,000 people. In April, the director of the project, I'm going to fuck his name up, but it's Mhyre, M-H-Y-R-E, stated he ran out of money. Now he's begging for more money to complete the game. He says, I will admit that the amount needed to create this game was largely underestimated for the campaign. I knew that the game would need more than $60,000 to be made. If you want to know exactly how much money we need to finish this game, I will tell you. Between $120,000 and $150,000. That's double the amount that was raised in July of 2014. He then goes on to say, I would like to call all, this might sound harsh because this is just how he worded it, but I would like to call all publishers and investors that could potentially be interested in the game. We have all that you need to make a decision, and we're ready to be generous, provided that you help us in the first place. We want things to move on to progress If you are yourself interested or know anyone that could be interested, please leave us a message on Kickstarter, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere really, as long as it's private. Feel free to suggest companies or suggest us to other companies if you think that could help us as well. We are ready to talk. And then I got this article on Kotaku. I have it linked in the show notes if you want to go check it out. But it's at the end, Kotaku gives some great kickstarting advice. They say if you see a video game Kickstarter is asking for less than $200,000, aka a year's salary for 4 people working at below average rates, you probably shouldn't back it. And if you see a video game Kickstarter whose creators don't seem to have any experience shipping actual video games, you probably shouldn't back it. Now that goes really well with any kind of thing that we've been saying as far as Kickstarter goes. Kickstarter is one of those platforms that's really rocky as far as backing people on, because you don't know what your money's actually going to until you're delivered that final product in a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. One day, eventually, you get this email that says, "Hey, we finally finished the project that you backed," or you finally get something on your doorstep that says that you open the box and go, "Hey, I forgot about this thing that I did years ago."
Right.
So it's one of the situations that if you see something like this, now the article for this is linked in there, and they put the picture of the sprite work that this guy did for the game. Looks amazing. I mean, it's really beautiful, the sprite work that he did. But if you looked at it and he wants to make it as big of a venture as he does, I mean, you're going to need more than $73,000 to make this game. That's
no shit, dude.
That's like,
73,000 is like a general household income.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So,
and for Kickstarter, my opinion with this shit is Kickstarter should be used to kickstart something. I don't think that the proper usage for all this should be to completely fund something from start to finish with somebody else's money. I mean, I feel like it's fine if people want to fund something with their money. I feel like that's fine. But these companies keep coming in and failing. I feel like I would feel a lot better if they came in and said, "Look, we've got investors set up to where if we can prove that the Kickstart goes off successfully, these Kickstarters know that there's interest so that they'll invest money." And I kind of like that a little bit better. I feel like it's a little bit more well-rounded.
Yeah, that is actually something that I've seen happen before. That has been something. I can't remember what it was, though.
Shenmue did that. I mean, because they didn't get enough money for the whole entire game, but they got enough interest in it to show their investors, or to show Sony? Somebody.
Yeah, Sony.
Hey, there is interest. Let's put money into this.
Speaking of Shenmue, creators of Shenmue, you know what they're saying now?
What?
We need more money.
Oh, God. From Kickstarter?
$6 million is not enough for us to make a beautiful game.
But I thought the whole concept of that was that they proved to Sony that it was worth putting money into, so now Sony was going to back them up.
They did, but I think they only got like $2 million on Kickstarter.
And then they got the rest from Sony or something?
Oops.
$6 million? How many people are they using to make this game?
I have no idea.
$6 million?
Okay, no, I was wrong. $6 million. $6,333,295 was donated on Kickstarter.
Holy shit!
And just on Kickstarter. That's not including anything else. Yeah, that's not including what they got from Sony.
This is going to end up going down in history as like one of the biggest gimme things ever.
So now that he's saying that, hey, we need more money to make.
We should dive into that and do a really extensive thing on that next week, because I'm interested in talking about that, because that shit kind of sets me off.
Yeah, we can.
I'm gonna write it down.
You can make a really good game for $6 million.
We should put our field correspondent on the Shenmue article. Jim.
We should get Jim and Chris as both as field correspondents.
Okay.
And do a story for each of them.
All right. So Jim did really well. So Jim, your assignment is Shenmue this week. I want all the detail. I want how much money they made, how much money they think they need, how much money they've gotten from Sony, and just basically how they're screwing over everybody. That's what I want to know. We'll work on Chris's.
All right.
And also, I want them in audio format so that we don't have to talk them out. We can just play them.
I'll see if I can get them to do that. Yeah, I can't guarantee
Also,
how.
this is free. Actually, you should pay us.
Yeah, pay us to be featured on here. We'll pimp your Twitter too. That's all you get. You get a couple Twitter followers for your efforts.
Probably not even that. But
Maybe
thank
one.
you. I'll give you a hug when I see
The
you. In real life.
Train Noobs podcast will follow you on Twitter. That's what
If you
get.
don't mind men grabbing other men's butts, I'm all yours.
He'll have to write you an email to tell you how he feels. All right, why don't you go on to your second one?
All right, my big news topic for the week that I've been really excited to talk about is drumroll. Esports unions.
God, can you not drum roll because you're terrible at it?
Esports unions, man. Have you heard anything about esports unions? I did not tell you about my topics before we started.
I have no idea what you're talking about, so no.
All right. So you understand what a traditional union is, right?
Yeah.
So esports, a letter was sent out by Navi's CEO Alexander. Holy shit! Ready?
Don't even try. Don't even try.
By Alexander, the Navi CEO, and the letter stated demands of Dota 2 and CS:GO teams to event organizers, i.e., their union that they're forming. The teams are going to start enforcing these or holding these organizers and contributors to these terms starting January 1st of next year. So 2016 years when this union is going to take effect. And for any of those of you that are not familiar with what unions are, basically a union is a whole separate entity that their sole purpose is to protect you and your interests in your job. So whatever your job is. So there is there's a union for the railroad. There's a union for like metal workers. There's a union for actors. That's
there's
infamously the Screen Actors Guild.
There's a Steelworkers Union that's in Pittsburgh. That everybody has on their back the bumper of their car.
And I would say a lot. Okay, people love unions because unions take care of people. You pay a little bit of money to the union, and then in return you get like I used to work for under the union for a grocery store here. I would pay them like $40 a month, and I got all of my health insurance was paid. I had job security like you wouldn't believe because it's really hard to be fired from a union. And people really seem to like the unions, but businesses hate the unions. Businesses fucking hate the unions because it's really hard to get rid of people and they lose money and stuff like that. The only one downside is if you have shitty coworkers who don't do their job and they make you have to work more and harder. You can't get rid of those shitty coworkers because they're under the union and it's hard to get rid of them. But there's pros and cons. But anyway, the gamers want to start this, and so this will take effect January 1st of next year. The teams union most notably includes teams like Navi, Team Liquid, CLG, Cloud9, VP, TSM, Fnatic, NIP, Titan,
TCM.
TSM, and more. That's just most notably. The letter was sent to organizations including ESL. Hold your breath. Ready? ESL, DreamHack, StarLadder, Faceit, PGL, MLG, Civo, Join Dota, Dota Cinema, One Game Agency, Dota Pit, and Counterpit, ESEA, ESWC, Dreams Media, BTS, Fragbyte, and Gfinity. So I
actually wasn't ready for that list to be that long. At the end, I started struggling. I'm like, wait, I wasn't prepared for this.
Yeah, so like I said, this is for Dota 2 and Counter-Strike Go right now. Hopefully this starts branching out because I want to see the gamers get taken care of. I want to see this a viable thing. I want to see kids starting to make money. I want to see no more corruption. I want to see, like, of course, with more money comes more corruption and stuff like that. But hopefully things start getting put under a microscope and the whole team's not getting paid from their managers. Things stops happening. I just want to see these kids be able to follow their dreams and get taken care of and then come out of it with money so that they have a future. And right now, these kids are just being used. They're being used for views on whatever platform that people are getting views on. TBS, BBC Three is going to start covering League of Legends.
Fox Sports 1 actually just started covering, they just did a CSGO a couple days ago, and people were all, why are there people shooting other people? Why is the video game on Fox Sports 1? How is this sports? All that,
And those people are just ignorant, Southern Americans with their guns up their asses.
To be fair, hey, hold on. I have some guns up my ass. But to be fair with the whole thing, I do agree that you shouldn't take esports and put it on a sports network specifically. Now, if Fox Sports wants to make another channel dedicated to esports, I think that would be a little bit more fair to
Look, man,
everybody
at the end of the
involved.
day, you can choose to watch it or you can choose not to watch it. Just flip the fucking channel, and that's what gets these. That's what gets these things on these channels is ratings and people watching them. They have the right to put on whatever they want onto their network, and we have the right to watch whatever we want on whatever network we want to. So I don't think that it matters what fucking channel it's on. If it's on a sports network, they don't need everybody doesn't need to riot because this isn't sports. Just turn the channel.
Yeah, but on the other hand, not other chance. On the other hand, people aren't used to change. If they've been watching one channel because their favorite sports team's on it, like this, okay.
Well, that's fine, but if
I
that
think
block
hold
is
on,
not
wait.
dedicated to their team, then
This
that
would
block's
have
not dedicated to
been
it.
this would have been a completely different story and a completely different reaction had it not been done in Australia. Now, Australia only has a couple of sports channels, and if they are very a very sports heavy country, I could say. I could call it. I don't know what the technical term for it is. Technically, they're a continent,
Continent?
but
I mean, I think it's both.
yeah. So, but they're very
Island.
sports focused, and if you take away one of their only sports networks and put esports on it, people are going to look at it as esports. People are going to look at it like a video game, which it is, but it isn't at the same time. So they don't understand that it takes the same mental fortitude to
Right.
compete in a game like that. That's very tactical, very focused on using your brain and reaction times and all that stuff, as opposed to going out and playing cricket.
I have no interest in these ignorant people understanding what esports is all about. I don't care. Like, it's not there for them. It's there for us. There's a big viewership. There's a big fan base for esports right now,
Well,
and we should be able to watch it on television too. And I don't care to hear all these people bitching about it's not their channel. It's
write
not
this
their channel. I grew up watching sports on those channels just as much as they did. So fuck them.
write this down. We'll talk about it a little bit more in the next show.
Yeah, good, because it's pissing me off. What is it? Well, let's see. Let's say esports on TV.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, and I do have one more topic or point about this, and then we'll conclude this because we'll talk about it in the post show. We've only got like 8 more minutes.
Yeah, well, I have 2 more topics to go over.
Oh, that's right, because you did 3. I forgot.
Yeah.
Some things to take note from the union demands are they want compensated travel expenses separate from the prize winnings. So I'm sure at some points those have been getting taken out, which sucks. Minimum prize money for both games, private areas for the teams at events, provided transport, real generic, simple things that I think everybody should get. I mean, when you look at how much professional sports or professional athletes and other sports get, I mean, those are very simple demands. And if you want, you can read the whole letter as it comes from the CEO of Navi, Alexander, in our show notes. I link to it. It's just a docs page, and it's just exactly what he sent out to all the organizations. So you can read it there.
All right. Well, I'll just go over one more of these, and we'll talk. I'll bring up the next one on the following episode that we do, because I can kind of talk about that in the background while we play, while we stand in town or whatever, or if we play Minecraft. If you want to do Minecraft instead, that'd be kind of fun.
I want to play Diablo, but you know me.
I got a little burnt out on Diablo just because I've been playing it so fucking much.
Well, I need a new character to be leveled, and I need your guys' help with that.
Maybe see if I can get Kayla in here for that, because she might want to play Diablo.
Sweet.
So on to the next one. This is kind of esports related, so this will be really interesting. You really got to get that mic mute button.
I know. I forgot to do it before the show, so you guys are going to have to deal with it on this episode. Don't fucking bitch.
Yep, next episode he'll get it on.
I'm
I'll make
sick
sure.
of assholes.
I'll make sure he does it for next episode.
Dying over here.
So,
All you guys care about is not having me cough.
riot bands.
So selfish. I love getting into this point at least once every week. Go ahead.
Riot bans key reseller G2A from sponsoring league teams. If you're not familiar
Whoa,
with,
really?
if you're not familiar with G2A, it's a third-party key reselling site, and the keys are acquired through various means that don't involve permission from the developer. And most of the time, that means that the developer gets nothing from the sales.
Wow.
They're also a huge sponsor of esports teams and have affiliate schemes with a lot of them. And if you haven't seen, if you go open up any stream, basically any stream,
Yeah.
They'll have G2A on it, and G2A will basically say, "Hey, use this promo code, you get 3% off."
Right. Now, I was watching Crip's stream the other day, and he spent like a half hour defending G2A while everybody in his chat said that they were a bullshit company. And Crip was like putting his defense into these guys. And I didn't know that they had means of getting game codes that were not going back to the companies. I assumed that they were getting game codes from like Humble Bundles and shit, which does go back to companies.
No, they're reselling like big games, AAA games, and they even have a section on there right now that you can go on there and sell your key to them.
I'm gonna put this down so we can talk more about G2A in the post show because I want to talk about this. But go ahead.
Okay, and then it says that where are we at? Riot Games has banned the site from sponsoring any League of Legends teams. Reason being that G2A has been selling accounts and ranked boosting services.
What?
So essentially,
they're like a shady gold farming website.
Essentially, what that is yeah, you can go on there, you can buy a level 30 account that's already in, say, platinum or whatever ranking you want to go. Probably the higher the ranking. I didn't look at the website, but the higher the ranking, at least how it works on a lot of other websites, is the higher the ranking it is, the more expensive the account will be. The more like expensive or rare skins are on a certain account, the more expensive that account will be. At least that's how it works on like eBay and stuff like that. Rank boosting, what that is basically you go on there and you purchase a service from somebody that's really decent at the game. They go on to your account, they play on your account in ranked and level you up to a higher ranking for whatever you pay for, however high of a tier you pay for. And if you say you want to go from silver, which is second to the lowest, to let's say masters, which is second to the highest, they'll give you a projected time period that it takes them to boost you to that. And the higher up you go, each ranking below master has tiers 1 through 5. The higher you go, they'll require more money the whole time. So they've been selling these, and Riot basically found out about it.
This needs to be banned. This is ridiculous.
Riot found out about it, and they're like, this completely stands against everything that we go by. Now, this is a quote from the developer relations / third-party ecosystem manager at Riot, Jay Eckert, stating, "We've already formally banned them as a sponsor as of September 18th and have no plans to reconsider the decision at this time. This was not a decision we've made lightly and came after many weeks of back-and-forth conversations with G2A to find a resolution, which we were not able to reach an agreement upon. We do not at all enjoy affecting the income of the teams, but the LCS rules include guidelines specifically against this sort of thing. We did, however, keep teams in the loop during the process in an attempt to avoid any surprises." So, that's that. G2A, I think, is overall a really shady fucking website and shouldn't exist in the first place. But
you can't argue that it's not shady.
Yeah.
I mean, it's shady no matter which way you look at it.
So,
and if game developers aren't getting money from those sales, I think that's bullshit. Same thing as fucking GameStop reselling used games. It's in the same fucking category for me. Nice cough button. Show me how it's done. Jesus.
yeah, I got you.
Feel bad. All right. So you got one more news article, right?
I do. If you want me to go over it, I can go over it. If you want me to go over
If
it,
you want to save it, we could keep it for next week's show.
yeah, if you want to go over it next week,
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I got everything out that I needed to get out, at least for this episode. We'll talk a little bit more about a lot of this stuff.
You still did 2 topics, right?
I did 2 main topics there.
We did 2 and 2. So we did the full the full thing. Okay.
I did 3 because of the old format that we had. I was still in that.
Oh, okay.
I was still in the old format type thing.
And just to remind people, our new format is I bring 3 headlines, he brings 3 headlines, I bring 2 news articles, he brings 2 news articles, and that's how we're rolling. We're going to try and keep it an hour, more digestible, easier for us to put up.
Yep.
It's all about getting up easy.
I think I discussed it about this last week a little bit, but
Just reiterating. No, you didn't last week because you were with Chris last week.
I think I did. Go back and listen. I'm pretty sure I did. If it wasn't, then we did it the previous week before that, because we did this once before.
2 weeks ago. Right.
Well, go check us out at our website, trainnoobs.com, and all of the links are at the bottom. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, go down there, check that out. I'm at It's Nerves on Twitter. He's McMurray M. McMurray underscore M. M underscore McMurray. I don't know. Which one are you?
McMurray underscore M.
Yeah, he
I'm
doesn't.
gonna change it. I think I'm gonna change it today. Actually, I'm gonna change it right now while we're thinking about it. I've been thinking about this for a while.
You're going to name
If I
it
can get what I
Chiboner?
want.
Chiboner?
I should, but no, I have a better idea.
So yeah, mine's at It's Nerves with Z's instead of S's because I'm edgy. So go check that out. Mike, what's your new one?
I'm seeing if it's available.
Oh,
Live editing. Let's see. Log in to.
we're over an hour. We did it. We're over an hour. It's unacceptable.
I'm dying. I'm dying of a cold. I was telling Katie yesterday, what if they came up with a drug where you're high off your ass, but it cures the common cold? Do you take it?
You're high?
You're like if you shoot heroin or if you do meth and it cures the common cold.
I mean, sure. Why not? What's
Why not?
I mean, what do you got to lose, right? You're just gonna be high as
Username has
shit.
been taken. That's bullshit, dude.
You gonna
Did I
figure
take that
You gonna
one?
figure this out, and we'll do it next week.
I'll figure it out in the post show.
Yeah, we'll.
I'm-
Oh,
Some fucking dude named Donnie Duchette from Canada. It's just me on a world tour. Who knows where I'll end up? Took my fucking name. It's bullshit, man. God damn it. And he looks like a nice guy, too. Fuck! All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
I guess we won't find out what Mike's Twitter handle is going to be this week.
It's going to be McMurray underscore M for now. I'm going to figure out what to change it to, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll put it in the post or the next show. So thanks for checking this out, guys. Check out the website, like I said, trainnoobs.com, tnoobs.com for short if you want to be lazy as fuck. We got a Patreon, we got a Twitch, which we don't use, we got a Twitter, we got Reddit, we got all that shit. Half of stuff doesn't stay updated because we're lazy as fuck, which we need to start keeping up to date on.
Reddit stuff. Everything else does, though.
Yep. So we try to post occasionally on Twitter with the Train Noobs account. If we don't, then I'm trying to tweet more often. That's going to pretty much do it for us this week. Guys, thanks for checking out episode 15.
Later, noobs.